When I finally opened my deceased husband's garage after 18 months of avoidance, I expected to find old tools and forgotten projects. Instead, I discovered a sophisticated business empire worth over $12 million that he had built in complete secrecy while working as a grocery store manager. What I found inside would shatter everything I believed about success, potential, and the quiet power of hidden determination. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The foreclosure notice arrived on a Tuesday morning in October, delivered by a postal worker who avoided eye contact as he handed me the certified envelope that would change everything. I stood in the doorway of our modest ranch house on Maple Street, still wearing my bathrobe at 11 o'clock in the morning, and felt the familiar weight of grief settle deeper into my chest as I read the legal language that threatened to take away the last physical connection I had to Michael. My name is Sarah Bennett, and for the past 18 months I had been drowning in the aftermath of losing my husband to a sudden stroke that claimed him at age 42 while he was working late inventory at Peterson's Market, the local grocery store where he had served as manager for nearly 15 years. The medical bills from his brief hospitalization, combined with the loss of his modest salary, had created a financial spiral that my part-time income as a substitute teacher could not halt. Michael had been the steady presence in our marriage, the man who balanced our checkbook, paid our bills, and somehow managed to keep our heads above water, despite the financial limitations that seemed to define our life in Riverside, a small manufacturing town where opportunities felt as scarce as hope itself. He never complained about the long hours or the demanding customers, never expressed frustration about the paycheck that barely covered our mortgage and utilities, and never indicated that he harbored any ambitions beyond providing stability for our small family. Our life together had been comfortable in its predictability, marked by simple pleasures and modest expectations. We ate dinner together every evening at 6 o'clock, watched television until 10, and went to bed knowing that tomorrow would bring more of the same routine that had sustained us through 12 years of marriage. Michael left for work at 7:30 each morning, carrying his lunch in a brown paper bag and driving our 10-year-old sedan that he maintained meticulously to extend its useful life as long as possible. The foreclosure notice represented the culmination of a series of financial disasters that had begun with Michael's death and accelerated through a cascade of unexpected expenses and reduced income. The life insurance policy that we thought would provide security proved insufficient to cover both funeral costs and ongoing living expenses. The pension benefits from his grocery store employment were minimal, designed to supplement rather than replace his regular income. My substitute teaching position provided irregular work that varied dramatically from month to month, making financial planning nearly impossible. I had considered selling our house voluntarily, but the real estate market in Riverside had been declining for years as manufacturing jobs disappeared and young families moved to larger cities with better opportunity. The mortgage balance exceeded the property's current value, creating a situation where even a successful sale would leave me with debt rather than equity. The foreclosure process seemed inevitable, a legal formality that would eliminate my housing costs while destroying my credit rating and forcing me to find alternative living arrangements with limited resources. The one asset I had consistently avoided confronting was Michael's detached garage, a structure that sat behind our house like a monument to unfinished business and unexamined memory. The garage had been Michael's private domain during our marriage, a space where he retreated on weekend afternoons to pursue projects that he described vaguely as hobby work or vehicle maintenance. He had installed a separate electrical service and internet connection, upgrades that seemed excessive for simple automotive repair, but I had never questioned his explanations or expressed curiosity about activities that clearly provided him with satisfaction and relaxation. During the months following his death, I had approached the garage door several times with the intention of sorting through his belongings and clearing out what I assumed would be accumulated tools, automotive supplies, and miscellaneous equipment that might have modest resale value. Each time, however, the emotional weight of opening that door and confronting the physical evidence of his private interests proved overwhelming. The garage remained locked, its contents unknown, while I focused on managing the more immediate challenges of grief, financial stress, and practical decisions about my uncertain future. The foreclosure notice created an urgent deadline that forced me to confront every aspect of our shared property, including the mysterious garage that I had successfully avoided for 18 months. The legal documents specified that all structures and contents would be subject to seizure unless the outstanding mortgage balance was satisfied within 30 days. This meant that whatever Michael had stored in his private workspace would soon belong to the bank unless I took immediate action to inventory and remove anything of personal or financial value. That afternoon, I walked across our backyard through fallen leaves that Michael would have raked and disposed of with his characteristic attention to detail. The garage stood unchanged from the day he died, its metal siding weathered but structurally sound, its windows reflecting the gray October sky that seemed to match my emotional state. The building measured approximately 24 feet by 36 feet, larger than many people realized because it was positioned at an angle that minimized its visual impact from the house. The door was secured with a heavy-duty padlock that Michael had installed years earlier, explaining at the time that he wanted to protect his tools from potential theft. I had never possessed a key to this lock, never requested access to the space, and never challenged his assertion that the garage contained nothing that would interest me. The dynamic had seemed natural within the context of our relationship, where we each maintained certain individual interests and personal boundaries that the other respected without question. Finding the key required searching through Michael's personal effects, a process that I had completed partially but never comprehensively during the months since his death. His dresser drawers contained the usual collection of clothing, personal documents, and miscellaneous items that accumulate over years of ordinary living. His wallet held credit cards, identification, and business cards from various service providers, but no key that obviously corresponded to the garage lock. His keychain included house keys, car keys, and several smaller keys, whose purposes I could not identify. The search expanded to his home office, a converted bedroom where he had maintained a desk and filing cabinet for household paperwork and personal correspondence. The office seemed remarkably organized for someone whose professional responsibilities involved managing inventory and staff schedules at a busy grocery store. File folders were labeled clearly and arranged alphabetically, financial documents were sorted by category and date, and correspondence was organized chronologically in ways that suggested systematic attention to detail. One file folder labeled Property Maintenance contained receipts and documentation for various home improvement projects that Michael had completed over the year. These records revealed expenditures that seemed surprisingly substantial for our modest household budget, including electrical work, internet installation, and security system upgrades that I did not remember discussing or approving. The electrical work alone had cost nearly $3,000, an amount that represented a significant portion of our annual discretionary spending. The internet installation documentation indicated that Michael had arranged for a separate high-speed connection to the garage, distinct from our household service, and significantly more expensive than the basic package we used for personal computing and entertainment. The service agreement specified bandwidth capabilities that seemed excessive for hobby use, suggesting applications that required substantial data transmission or processing capacity. The monthly cost of this service exceeded what many families spent on all utilities combined. The security system documentation revealed the most surprising information. Michael had installed a comprehensive surveillance and access control system that included motion sensors, cameras, and electronic locks that could be monitored and controlled remotely through secure internet connection. The system's capabilities seemed designed for protecting valuable assets rather than securing ordinary tools and equipment. The installation cost had exceeded $5,000, representing expenditures that should have been impossible within our known financial constraints. These discoveries created cognitive dissonance that challenged my understanding of our marriage's financial reality. The documented expenditures totaled more than $15,000 over a 3-year period, representing amounts that should have been visible in our household budget and banking record. Michael had somehow funded these improvements without affecting our regular living expenses or savings accounts, suggesting income sources or financial resources that I had never known existed. The implications were simultaneously exciting and troubling. The existence of unknown financial resources offered hope that our current crisis might be manageable, that Michael might have left assets that could address our mortgage problems and provide financial stability. However, the secrecy surrounding these expenditures raised questions about trust and communication within our marriage that I was not emotionally prepared to confront. The key to the garage padlock was eventually located in a small magnetic container attached to the underside of Michael's desk drawer, positioned where it would be invisible during casual inspection but accessible to someone conducting a thorough search. The container also held a folded piece of paper containing a handwritten note that made my hands tremble as I read the carefully formed words that represented Michael's final communication about his secret domain. "Sarah," the note began in his familiar script. "If you are reading this, circumstances have forced you to investigate the garage against my original intention. I had hoped to share this information with you directly when the timing seemed appropriate, but life does not always accommodate our plans. What you will find inside represents 20 years of work toward goals that I could never adequately explain. Please remember that everything I built was motivated by love for you and determination to create security that our regular circumstances could not provide." The note continued with specific instructions for disabling the security system, accessing the main workspace, and locating documentation that would explain the scope and purpose of whatever I was about to discover. Michael's handwriting reflected the same careful attention to detail that characterized all his personal correspondence, but the emotional tone suggested awareness that this revelation would fundamentally change my understanding of our shared life. "The combination for the main safe is our wedding anniversary," the note concluded. "The password for the computer system is your maiden name, followed by the year we met. Everything else you need to know is documented in the files labeled Transition Plan. I am sorry for the secrecy, but I believed it was necessary for security and sustainability. I hope you will understand when you see what we accomplished together, even though you were not aware of your contribution." Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Standing in Michael's home office with the key and instructions in my hands, I faced a decision that would either confirm my worst fears about financial deception, or reveal possibilities that might transform my understanding of what had been achieved through 20 years of quiet determination. The garage held answers to questions I had never thought to ask. Secrets that might explain how a grocery store manager had funded sophisticated improvements while maintaining the appearance of financial limitation. The afternoon sun was beginning to fade as I walked back across the yard toward the garage, carrying the key that would either destroy my remaining illusions about our marriage, or provide the foundation for rebuilding my life on a completely different understanding of what Michael had accomplished. The foreclosure notice remained on my kitchen table, its 30-day deadline unchanged, but the discovery of hidden resources offered the first glimmer of hope I had experienced since receiving the devastating news. The padlock opened smoothly, suggesting regular use despite my assumption that the garage had remained sealed since Michael's death. The security system panel inside the door responded correctly to the disabling sequence from his written instructions, confirming that his documentation was accurate and current. The main lights activated automatically when the security system recognized authorized access, illuminating a space that bore no resemblance to any garage I had ever seen. The interior had been transformed into what appeared to be a professional office complex, complete with workstations, filing systems, telecommunications equipment, and wall displays that suggested serious business operations rather than hobby activity. The space was immaculately organized, with every surface clean and every item positioned with precision that reflected systematic management and ongoing maintenance. Multiple computer monitors displayed data that continued updating despite Michael's absence, indicating automated systems that had been operating independently for 18 months. Financial charts, market analyses, and business reports scrolled across screens in patterns that suggested sophisticated monitoring of investment portfolios and business performance metrics. The complexity and scope of these displays implied knowledge and capabilities that seemed impossible for someone whose professional experience was limited to retail management. File cabinets lined the walls, labeled with categories that included property acquisitions, investment analysis, business operations, and community development projects. Each cabinet appeared to contain comprehensive documentation organized with the same systematic attention to detail that characterized Michael's home office, but focused on activities that I had never known existed. The magnitude of what I was discovering created an emotional overload that made it difficult to process individual elements or understand their collective significance. This was not the simple workshop or storage space that I had imagined, but rather a sophisticated business headquarters that suggested expertise, resources, and accomplishments that contradicted everything I thought I knew about Michael's capabilities and ambition. As I stood surrounded by evidence of a hidden empire that my husband had built while maintaining the facade of ordinary limitations, I realized that the foreclosure notice on my kitchen table might represent not the end of my financial security, but rather the beginning of understanding what true financial security actually meant. The garage contained answers that would either confirm that I had been living a lie for 20 years, or reveal that I had been living a truth so extraordinary that I had been incapable of recognizing its existence. The transformation of my understanding had only just begun, but already I could sense that the woman who entered this garage would not be the same person who eventually emerged with full knowledge of what Michael had accomplished in secret. The greatest secret was not what he had hidden from me, but what he had been building for me all along. The central workstation demanded my immediate attention, its array of monitors displaying real-time financial data that continued updating despite Michael's 18-month absence from this hidden command center. The sophistication of the setup suggested capabilities that extended far beyond hobby investing or casual business interests. These were professional-grade systems capable of managing complex financial operations, with the precision and scope typically associated with institutional investment firms. The main monitor displayed a portfolio summary that made me question whether I was experiencing some form of grief-induced hallucination. The numbers seemed impossible when viewed against the backdrop of our modest lifestyle and Michael's publicly acknowledged income as a grocery store manager. According to the data streaming across the screen, the portfolio contained holdings valued at over $8 million, distributed across commercial real estate properties, equity investments, and private business ventures that generated substantial monthly returns. The real estate holdings alone represented an empire that defied every assumption I had maintained about our financial circumstance. The system displayed ownership details for 17 commercial properties located throughout our metropolitan area, including office buildings, retail centers, and mixed-use developments that I recognized from driving through different neighborhoods. Each property listing included acquisition dates, purchase prices, current market valuations, and monthly rental income figures that collectively generated over $60,000 in gross monthly revenue. The mathematical reality was staggering. These properties had been acquired over a 15-year period at a total investment cost of approximately $3.2 million. Yet their current combined value exceeded $7 million due to strategic acquisition timing and systematic property improvement. The monthly rental income alone exceeded 3 times Michael's annual salary from the grocery store, suggesting that his public employment had served as professional camouflage rather than primary income generation. The business ventures portfolio revealed an additional layer of sophistication that challenged my understanding of Michael's capabilities and expertise. The system tracked ownership stakes in 12 different companies, ranging from small local service businesses to technology firms with regional market presence. These investments had been structured through limited liability companies and investment partnerships that provided both legal protection and tax optimization, while generating quarterly distributions that supplemented the real estate income. The most successful business investment appeared to be a logistics company that provided warehouse and distribution services to manufacturing firms throughout the region. Michael's initial investment of $200,000 had grown to an equity stake worth over $1.5 million through a combination of company growth and strategic reinvestment of earnings. The quarterly distributions from this single investment exceeded $15,000, representing income that surpassed many people's annual salaries. The equity investments demonstrated a level of market knowledge and strategic thinking that seemed impossible for someone whose professional experience was limited to retail management. The portfolio included positions in growth stocks, dividend-paying blue-chip companies, and specialized funds that required sophisticated understanding of market dynamics and risk management principles. The allocation strategy reflected years of careful research and disciplined investment execution that had generated consistent returns despite market volatility. The documentation system revealed the extent of Michael's analytical approach to wealth building. File cabinets contained detailed research reports on every investment decision, including market analysis, financial projections, risk assessments, and performance tracking data that would impress professional investment managers. Each real estate acquisition included comprehensive due diligence files with property inspections, neighborhood demographic studies, zoning research, and financial modeling that predicted long-term appreciation potential. The business investment files demonstrated similar analytical rigor with detailed evaluations of management teams, market opportunities, competitive landscapes, and growth strategies that informed each investment decision. Michael had developed standardized evaluation criteria and systematic due diligence processes that minimized emotional decision-making while maximizing objective analysis of risk and return potential. The scope of his knowledge base was revealed through an extensive library of investment and business education materials that filled several bookcases along the garage wall. These volumes included advanced texts on real estate analysis, corporate finance, market theory, and business strategy that suggested years of dedicated study and professional-level education in fields completely unrelated to his public career in retail management. The learning methodology was documented through detailed notebooks that tracked his educational progress over nearly 2 decades. Michael had developed a systematic approach to acquiring knowledge, with structured reading schedules, comprehensive note-taking systems, and practical application exercises that translated theoretical concepts into actionable investment strategies. The notebooks revealed a disciplined intellectual journey that transformed a grocery store employee into a sophisticated investor and business analyst. The most remarkable aspect of the educational documentation was its focus on practical implementation rather than academic theory. Every concept was tested through small-scale experiments before being applied to larger investments. Every strategy was evaluated through real-world performance measurement. Every principle was validated through actual market results rather than hypothetical scenarios. The time management system that enabled this extraordinary achievement while maintaining his grocery store career was documented through detailed schedules and workflow optimization strategies. Michael had restructured his life around a systematic approach to maximizing productive hours, utilizing early mornings, late evenings, and weekend time blocks for investment research, property management, and business development activity. The scheduling documentation revealed that Michael typically worked from 5 to 7 in the morning on investment analysis, before leaving for his grocery store responsibilities. He returned to the garage office from 8 to 11 each evening for property management, business communications, and portfolio monitoring activity. Weekend time was allocated to property inspections, business meetings, and strategic planning sessions that advanced his various investment projects. This schedule represented a level of personal discipline and time optimization that challenged conventional assumptions about work-life balance and the limitations imposed by traditional employment obligations. Michael had essentially operated 2 full-time careers simultaneously, maintaining excellent performance in his public role while building a sophisticated business empire that required expertise and attention typically associated with dedicated professional investors. The financial management system demonstrated how this extraordinary achievement had been funded despite modest grocery store earnings. The documentation revealed a sophisticated cash flow optimization strategy that maximized investment capital while maintaining the appearance of financial limitation that characterized our household budget discussion. Michael had systematically allocated 100% of his grocery store income to household expenses and family needs, ensuring that our lifestyle never reflected the existence of alternative income sources. The investment activities were funded entirely through reinvestment of returns from previous successful investments, creating a self-sustaining wealth-building cycle that required no additional capital beyond the initial seed investment. The initial capital for his first property acquisition had been generated through a combination of aggressive savings, side business ventures, and creative financing strategies that leveraged his growing expertise in real estate analysis. The first property purchase had required a down payment of $40,000, accumulated over 5 years through disciplined expense management and income optimization strategies that included tax preparation services for other families and weekend consulting work for small businesses. Each subsequent investment had been funded through profits and cash flow from previous investments, creating a snowball effect that accelerated wealth accumulation without requiring additional out-of-pocket capital. This approach had enabled exponential growth in net worth while maintaining the modest lifestyle that concealed the existence of substantial financial resources. The legal and tax optimization strategies revealed another layer of sophistication that protected wealth while minimizing tax obligations through legitimate business structures and investment strategies. Michael had worked with attorneys and accountants to establish limited liability companies, investment partnerships, and trust structures that provided legal protection while optimizing tax efficiency. The business structures were designed to separate personal liability from investment activities, while creating tax advantages that maximized after-tax returns on all investments. The documentation included comprehensive legal opinions and tax planning strategies that would typically be associated with high-net-worth individuals working with sophisticated wealth management professionals. The community impact component of Michael's investment strategy demonstrated that wealth accumulation had been pursued, not for personal aggrandizement, but as a foundation for systematic community development and social responsibility. The documentation revealed extensive charitable giving and community investment programs that had been operating anonymously for over a decade. The charitable activities included scholarship programs for local students, small business development loans for minority entrepreneurs, and emergency assistance funds for families facing temporary financial crises. These programs had distributed over $500,000 during the past 10 years, while maintaining complete anonymity that prevented recipients from knowing the source of their assistance. The business development programs had provided startup capital and mentorship support to over 30 local entrepreneurs who lacked access to traditional financing sources. These investments had created jobs, generated economic activity, and strengthened the local business community while generating modest returns that supported program sustainability. The Emergency Assistance Fund had helped over 100 families avoid eviction, maintain utilities during temporary unemployment, or address medical expenses that threatened family financial stability. The fund operated through partnerships with local churches and social service organizations that identified families in need and facilitated assistance distribution while protecting recipient privacy and dignity. The strategic planning documentation revealed Michael's long-term vision for expanding these community impact programs through continued wealth accumulation and systematic reinvestment in local economic development initiatives. His plans included establishing a community development bank, funding educational programs for financial literacy and entrepreneurship, and creating affordable housing projects that would address regional housing shortages. The succession planning materials demonstrated that Michael had anticipated the possibility of his early death, and had developed comprehensive plans for ensuring continuity of both wealth preservation and community impact programs. These plans included detailed instructions for property management, business operations oversight, and charitable program administration that would enable smooth transition of responsibility. The documentation specified that all investment properties and business holdings would transfer to me with complete legal ownership, but with moral obligations to continue the community impact programs and expand the charitable activities according to his established guidelines and strategic objectives. The transition plans included recommendations for professional support services, ongoing education programs, and gradual assumption of management responsibility. As I absorbed the magnitude of what Michael had accomplished in secret, I began to understand that the foreclosure notice on my kitchen table represented not the end of my financial security, but rather the beginning of discovering extraordinary resources that had been available throughout our marriage. The mortgage payments that threatened our home represented less than 1 month's income from the investment portfolio that I now owned completely. The transformation from financial desperation to overwhelming abundance created psychological challenges that extended beyond simple relief or gratitude. I was simultaneously grateful for the security that Michael had created, and confused about the secrecy that had prevented me from understanding our true circumstances. The discovery challenged fundamental assumptions about our relationship, our communication patterns, and my own role in our shared financial life. The evening hours passed unnoticed as I continued exploring the documentation and systems that revealed the scope of Michael's achievement. Each file folder contained additional surprises that expanded my understanding of what had been accomplished through 20 years of systematic effort and disciplined execution. The garage had been transformed from storage space to treasure chamber, revealing wealth and opportunity that exceeded my most optimistic imagination. The final revelation of the evening came through discovering a sealed envelope marked for Sarah, open first, that had been positioned prominently on the central desk where I could not miss its significance. Inside was a lengthy letter that explained Michael's motivations, methodology, and hopes for how I would continue the work he had begun in secret. The letter began with an apology for the secrecy and an explanation of his belief that wealth building required discretion and security that would have been compromised by widespread knowledge of our financial resources. He had maintained the facade of modest circumstances not to deceive me, but to protect the investments and community programs from potential interference or exploitation by others who might not share his values and objectives. The letter continued with detailed explanations of his investment philosophy, risk management strategies, and community impact goals that had guided every decision throughout his wealth-building journey. He had viewed financial success not as an end goal but as a means to create positive change in our community, while ensuring security for our family future. The concluding section of the letter contained his hopes and expectations for how I would utilize the resources he had accumulated and the systems he had developed. He encouraged me to continue learning about investment management and business operations, while gradually assuming greater responsibility for decision-making and strategic planning. He expressed confidence in my ability to master these skills, while maintaining the community focus that had defined his approach to wealth building. Standing in the garage, surrounded by evidence of Michael's extraordinary achievement, I realized that my understanding of success, wealth, and possibility had been fundamentally transformed in a single evening. The humble grocery store manager had been revealed as a sophisticated investor and community developer, whose accomplishments challenged every assumption about what could be achieved through determination and systematic effort. The foreclosure notice that had driven me to this discovery now seemed almost laughable in its insignificance, compared to the resources available for addressing any financial challenge. More importantly, I had inherited not just wealth but a comprehensive system for creating additional wealth while serving purposes larger than personal accumulation. The garage revelation marked the end of my old understanding of limitations and the beginning of a new appreciation for what becomes possible when ordinary people commit to extraordinary effort sustained over extended periods. Michael had proven that circumstances do not determine potential and that anyone willing to learn and work systematically can create remarkable results regardless of their starting position or public circumstances. The discovery of Michael's extraordinary wealth represented only the beginning of understanding the systematic methodology that had enabled such remarkable achievement while maintaining the appearance of ordinary circumstance. The documentation revealed that his success was not the result of luck, inheritance, or exceptional market timing, but rather the application of sophisticated strategies that any motivated individual could learn and implement through disciplined effort and strategic thinking. The foundational document that explained his entire approach was contained in a leather-bound portfolio labeled Investment Philosophy and Strategic Framework. This comprehensive guide outlined the principles, processes, and decision-making criteria that had governed every investment decision throughout his 20-year wealth-building journey. The document represented a complete education in practical wealth creation that challenged conventional assumptions about the requirements for financial success. Michael's investment philosophy was built around the principle that extraordinary results could be achieved through the systematic application of ordinary strategies executed with exceptional consistency and discipline. He rejected the common belief that wealth building required special knowledge, insider connections, or substantial starting capital. Instead, he demonstrated that anyone with access to public information and basic analytical skills could create significant wealth through patient application of proven principles. The strategic framework emphasized the importance of developing multiple income streams that operated independently while reinforcing each other through strategic coordination. Rather than pursuing get-rich-quick schemes or high-risk speculation, Michael had focused on building sustainable wealth through diversified investments that generated predictable cash flow while appreciating in value over extended time periods. The real estate investment methodology demonstrated how he had identified undervalued commercial properties through systematic market analysis and strategic timing. His approach involved comprehensive study of demographic trends, economic development patterns, and infrastructure improvements that would drive property value appreciation over 5 to 10-year period. This long-term perspective enabled him to purchase properties before their potential became obvious to other investors. The property identification process began with systematic monitoring of economic development activities throughout the metropolitan region. Michael maintained detailed databases of planned infrastructure projects, zoning changes, and business relocations that would affect property values in different neighborhoods. This information was gathered through public records research, attendance at city planning meetings, and systematic networking with real estate professionals who specialized in commercial transactions. The financial analysis component of his real estate strategy involved sophisticated evaluation of potential returns based on current rental income, projected appreciation, and total investment requirements, including acquisition costs, improvement expenses, and ongoing maintenance obligations. Each property was evaluated against strict criteria that required minimum cash flow yields and maximum risk exposure limits that protected overall portfolio performance. The financing strategies that enabled property acquisitions despite modest starting capital demonstrated creative approaches to leveraging available resources while minimizing personal risk exposure. Michael had developed relationships with community banks and private lenders who specialized in commercial real estate financing for small investors. These relationships provided access to favorable financing terms that maximized investment potential while maintaining conservative debt-to-equity ratio. The property management systems ensured that real estate investments generated consistent income while appreciating in value through strategic improvements and tenant relationship management. Michael had established partnerships with professional property management companies that handled day-to-day operations while he maintained oversight of major decisions and strategic planning activity. The business investment methodology revealed an equally sophisticated approach to identifying and evaluating investment opportunities in private companies and entrepreneurial ventures. Michael's strategy focused on businesses that served essential functions in the local economy while demonstrating potential for sustainable growth and competitive advantages that would protect long-term profitability. The business evaluation process involved comprehensive analysis of management quality, market opportunities, competitive positioning, and financial performance trends that indicated potential for above-average return. Michael had developed standardized evaluation criteria that assessed both quantitative financial metrics and qualitative factors, such as management integrity, industry dynamics, and growth sustainability. The investment structuring approach protected his interests while providing flexibility for portfolio optimization and tax efficiency. Michael typically invested through limited liability companies that provided legal protection while enabling strategic coordination with other investments and tax planning activity. These structures also facilitated eventual exit strategies that could maximize returns when business values reached optimal level. The equity market investment strategy demonstrated how systematic research and disciplined execution could generate superior returns despite the inherent volatility of public markets. Michael's approach emphasized fundamental analysis of company financial health, competitive positioning, and growth prospects, rather than short-term market timing or speculative trading strategy. The stock selection methodology involved comprehensive evaluation of company financial statements, industry trends, management quality, and competitive advantages that would drive long-term value creation. Michael maintained detailed research files on over 100 companies that met his investment criteria, enabling rapid decision-making when market conditions created attractive entry opportunities. The portfolio construction approach balanced growth potential with income generation and risk management through strategic diversification across industries, company sizes, and investment time horizons. This approach provided stability during market downturns while capturing growth during favorable market conditions through systematic rebalancing and strategic reinvestment of dividends and capital gain. The educational methodology that enabled Michael to develop expertise across multiple investment disciplines revealed a systematic approach to knowledge acquisition that could be replicated by anyone committed to continuous learning and skill development. His educational strategy combined formal study of investment principles with practical application through small-scale experiments that provided real-world experience without significant risk exposure. The reading program encompassed comprehensive study of classic investment texts, current market analysis publications, and specialized resources focused on commercial real estate, business valuation, and portfolio management techniques. Michael maintained detailed notes and summaries that facilitated quick reference and systematic review of key concepts and strategy. The practical application component involved systematic testing of investment concepts through small-scale transactions that provided hands-on experience with market dynamics, negotiation processes, and performance measurement techniques. These experiments enabled gradual skill development while building confidence and refining analytical capabilities through direct market experience. The networking strategy facilitated access to industry professionals, experienced investors, and market information sources that enhanced his analytical capabilities and deal flow opportunity. Michael had systematically developed relationships with real estate agents, business brokers, accountants, attorneys, and other professionals who could provide expertise and opportunities that accelerated his learning and investment activity. The time management system that enabled Michael to pursue sophisticated investment activities while maintaining his grocery store career demonstrated how anyone could develop parallel income streams through strategic scheduling and priority optimization. His approach involved systematic allocation of available time to high-value activities that advanced his long-term wealth-building objectives. The scheduling methodology divided each day into specific time blocks allocated to different categories of investment activity. Early morning hours were dedicated to market research and analysis activities that required focus and concentration. Evening hours were allocated to property management, business communications, and portfolio monitoring activities that could be handled efficiently through established systems and procedures. Weekend time was systematically allocated to property inspections, business meetings, and strategic planning activities that required extended time blocks and direct personal involvement. This scheduling approach ensured that investment activities received consistent attention while maintaining excellent performance in his primary employment responsibility. The productivity optimization strategies maximized the effectiveness of limited time resources through systematic organization, technology utilization, and process automation that eliminated unnecessary activities while focusing effort on high-impact decision-making and relationship-building activity. The risk management methodology protected accumulated wealth while enabling continued growth through strategic diversification, conservative leverage utilization, and systematic monitoring of portfolio performance and market conditions. Michael's approach emphasized preservation of capital as the foundation for long-term wealth building, rather than pursuing aggressive growth strategies that could jeopardize accumulated gains. The diversification strategy distributed investments across different asset classes, geographic regions, and market sectors to minimize exposure to any single risk factor that could significantly impact overall portfolio performance. This approach provided stability during economic downturns while maintaining growth potential during favorable market conditions. The leverage management approach utilized debt financing strategically to enhance returns while maintaining conservative debt-to-equity ratios that protected against market volatility and economic uncertainty. Michael's leverage guidelines ensured that debt service obligations could be met comfortably through existing cash flow without requiring asset sales during unfavorable market conditions. The performance monitoring systems provided systematic tracking of investment results against established benchmarks and strategic objectives. These systems enabled rapid identification of underperforming investments and market opportunities while maintaining accountability for decision-making effectiveness and strategic goal achievement. The tax optimization strategies maximized after-tax returns through legitimate business structures, strategic timing of investment transactions, and coordination with qualified tax professionals who specialized in investment taxation and wealth preservation techniques. These strategies enhanced overall portfolio performance while ensuring compliance with applicable tax regulations and reporting requirements. The business structure optimization involved establishment of limited liability companies and investment partnerships that provided legal protection while creating tax advantages through strategic income allocation and expense deduction opportunity. These structures also facilitated estate planning and wealth transfer strategies that would protect accumulated wealth for future generations. The transaction timing strategies coordinated investment purchases and sales to optimize tax consequences while maintaining investment performance objectives. This approach involved systematic planning of capital gains, realization, depreciation recapture management, and tax loss harvesting techniques that minimized tax obligations while maintaining portfolio growth and income generation. The professional support network included relationships with attorneys, accountants, financial advisor, and other specialists who provided expertise in areas beyond Michael's direct knowledge while ensuring that all investment activities complied with legal requirements and best practices for wealth preservation and growth. The documentation and record-keeping systems maintained comprehensive files on every investment decision, transaction detail, and performance measurement that facilitated systematic analysis of results and continuous improvement of investment strategies and execution techniques. This documentation also provided the foundation for tax compliance and legal protection while enabling efficient portfolio management and strategic planning activity. The systematic approach to wealth building that Michael had developed and implemented demonstrated that extraordinary financial success was achievable for anyone willing to develop the necessary knowledge, maintain disciplined execution of proven strategy, and commit to long-term thinking rather than seeking immediate gratification. His methodology proved that circumstances do not determine potential and that ordinary people can create extraordinary results through systematic application of learnable principles and strategies. The comprehensive framework that governed his investment activities provided a complete education in practical wealth creation that challenged conventional assumptions about the requirements for financial success while demonstrating that sophisticated investment strategies were accessible to anyone committed to learning and systematic implementation of proven approaches to asset accumulation and portfolio management. The discovery of Michael's sophisticated investment methodology raised fundamental questions about how a grocery store manager had acquired the advanced knowledge and analytical capabilities necessary for such extraordinary achievement. The answer lay in a comprehensive educational framework that demonstrated how anyone could develop expertise in complex fields through systematic learning and disciplined knowledge application, regardless of their formal educational background or professional circumstance. The educational documentation revealed that Michael had essentially created a private university within his garage office, complete with structured curricula, systematic assessment protocol, and practical application laboratories that transformed theoretical knowledge into actionable investment expertise. This educational approach proved that professional-level competency could be developed through self-directed learning when guided by clear objectives and systematic execution. The foundational principle of Michael's educational philosophy was that expertise in any field could be acquired through systematic study, combined with practical application, provided the learner maintained sufficient motivation and disciplined execution over extended periods. He rejected the conventional belief that formal credentials or institutional education were prerequisites for developing sophisticated analytical capabilities and strategic thinking skills. The curriculum design reflected comprehensive understanding of adult learning principles and knowledge acquisition strategies that maximized retention and practical application. Michael had structured his educational program around progressive skill development that began with fundamental concepts and advanced systematically towards sophisticated analytical techniques and strategic decision-making capability. The real estate education component provided complete mastery of commercial property analysis, market evaluation, and investment strategy development through systematic study of industry resources combined with practical field experience. This curriculum encompassed legal frameworks, financing structures, market analysis techniques, and property management strategies that enabled professional-level competency in commercial real estate investment. The initial phase of real estate education focused on fundamental concepts including property valuation methods, cash flow analysis techniques, and market comparison strategies that provided the analytical foundation for sophisticated investment decisions. Michael studied classic texts on real estate analysis while practicing valuation techniques on actual properties throughout the metropolitan region. The intermediate phase expanded into complex topics, including financing strategies, tax implications, and legal structures that optimized investment returns while minimizing risk exposure. This curriculum involved comprehensive study of mortgage financing, partnership structures, and depreciation strategies that enhanced after-tax returns through legitimate optimization techniques. The advanced phase encompassed sophisticated market analysis, development, project evaluation, and portfolio optimization strategies that enabled identification of exceptional investment opportunities while maintaining systematic risk management protocol. This level of expertise required comprehensive understanding of economic development patterns, demographic trends, and infrastructure planning that influenced long-term property value. The business analysis education component developed comprehensive capabilities for evaluating private companies, analyzing growth potential, and structuring strategic investments that generated superior returns through active involvement in business development activity. This curriculum provided complete understanding of financial statement analysis, competitive positioning assessment, and management evaluation techniques. The financial analysis curriculum began with fundamental accounting principles and financial statement interpretation that enabled accurate assessment of company financial health and performance trends. Michael studied standard accounting texts while practicing analysis techniques on publicly traded companies with easily accessible financial data. The intermediate curriculum expanded into advanced financial modeling, valuation techniques, and comparative analysis methods that provided sophisticated capabilities for evaluating investment opportunities across different industries and market conditions. This phase involved comprehensive study of discounted cash flow analysis, market multiple comparisons, and risk assessment methodology. The advanced curriculum encompassed strategic analysis, competitive intelligence gathering, and due diligence protocols that enabled professional-level evaluation of complex business opportunities. This expertise required understanding of industry dynamics, regulatory environments, and strategic positioning factors that influenced long-term business success. The equity market education component provided complete mastery of fundamental analysis, portfolio construction, and market timing strategies that generated consistent returns despite inherent market volatility. This curriculum developed sophisticated understanding of company valuation, economic analysis, and market psychology that enabled superior investment performance. The fundamental analysis curriculum focused on company evaluation techniques, including financial ratio analysis, earnings quality assessment, and competitive advantage identification that enabled selection of superior investment opportunities. Michael studied classic investment texts while practicing analysis techniques on actual market situations. The portfolio management curriculum developed systematic approaches to asset allocation, risk management, and performance optimization that maximized returns while maintaining appropriate risk level. This education encompassed modern portfolio theory, behavioral finance concepts, and systematic rebalancing strategy. The market analysis curriculum provided understanding of economic cycles, sector rotation patterns, and market sentiment indicators that enhanced timing decisions and risk management effectiveness. This expertise enabled strategic positioning that captured market opportunities while avoiding major downturns. The learning methodology that enabled Michael to master multiple complex disciplines simultaneously demonstrated sophisticated understanding of knowledge acquisition techniques and systematic skill development approaches. His educational strategy maximized learning efficiency while ensuring practical application that transformed theoretical knowledge into actionable expertise. The systematic reading program provided comprehensive exposure to authoritative resources across all investment disciplines through structured schedules that ensured consistent progress while maintaining depth of understanding. Michael allocated specific time periods to different subjects while maintaining systematic review cycles that reinforced previously acquired knowledge. The note-taking system captured essential concepts and analytical frameworks in organized formats that facilitated quick reference and systematic review during decision-making processes. This documentation approach ensured that valuable insights were preserved and easily accessible when needed for practical application. The practical application laboratories provided systematic opportunities to test theoretical concepts through low-risk experiments that developed confidence and refined analytical capability. Michael conducted systematic property analyses, business evaluations, and market assessments that provided hands-on experience with real-world applications of academic concepts. The mentorship network facilitated access to experienced professionals who provided guidance, validation, and advanced insights that accelerated learning while avoiding common mistakes. Michael systematically developed relationships with successful investors, business professionals, and industry experts who shared their knowledge and experience. The assessment protocols measured learning progress and competency development through systematic testing of knowledge and practical application capability. Michael created comprehensive examinations and practical exercises that ensured mastery of essential concepts before advancing to more complex material. The time management system that enabled comprehensive education while maintaining full-time employment demonstrated sophisticated approaches to schedule optimization and priority management. Michael allocated specific time blocks to different learning activities while maintaining systematic progress across all educational objectives. The early morning study sessions focused on intensive learning activities that required concentration and analytical thinking. Michael typically studied from 5 to 7 each morning, focusing on complex material that benefited from fresh mental energy and minimal distraction. The evening application sessions provided opportunities for practical work, including property analysis, business research, and portfolio management activities that applied theoretical knowledge to real-world situations. These sessions typically extended from 8 to 11 each evening, providing substantial time for meaningful project work. The weekend intensive sessions enabled extended study periods for complex topics and comprehensive project work that required sustained attention and systematic analysis. Weekend time was allocated to field research, professional meetings, and strategic planning activities that advanced both learning objectives and practical investment activity. The technology integration strategies leveraged advanced tools and information systems that enhanced learning efficiency while providing professional-grade analytical capability. Michael utilized sophisticated software applications, databases, and analytical tools that enabled rapid information processing and systematic analysis. The information management systems organized vast amounts of educational content, research data, and analytical results in formats that facilitated quick retrieval and systematic analysis. These systems enabled efficient access to accumulated knowledge while supporting complex decision-making processes. The research methodologies provided systematic approaches to gathering, evaluating, and synthesizing information from multiple sources that ensured accurate understanding of market conditions, investment opportunities, and strategic alternatives. Michael developed sophisticated information gathering protocols that ensured access to current and reliable data. The knowledge validation processes ensured that acquired information was accurate and applicable through systematic verification and practical testing. Michael maintained skeptical perspectives that required confirmation of important concepts through multiple sources in practical experimentation. The continuous improvement protocols systematically evaluated educational effectiveness and refined learning approaches based on practical results and changing market conditions. Michael regularly assessed his knowledge gaps and adjusted educational priorities to address areas requiring additional development. The teaching methodology that Michael developed for sharing his knowledge demonstrated sophisticated understanding of adult education principles and practical skill transfer techniques. His approach emphasized systematic knowledge sharing that enabled others to replicate his educational success while developing their own investment expertise. The curriculum design for others reflected comprehensive understanding of progressive skill development and practical application requirements. Michael structured educational programs that began with fundamental concepts and advanced systematically toward sophisticated analytical capabilities. The mentorship protocols provided systematic approaches to guiding others through complex learning processes, while ensuring practical application that developed real-world competency. Michael developed structured mentorship relationships that provided accountability and support, while encouraging independent thinking and decision-making. The assessment methods measured learning progress and practical competency development through systematic evaluation of knowledge and application capabilities. These assessment approaches ensured that students developed genuine expertise rather than superficial familiarity with investment concepts. The educational framework that Michael developed and implemented proved that sophisticated expertise could be acquired through systematic self-directed learning, when guided by clear objectives and disciplined execution. His approach demonstrated that formal educational credentials were not prerequisites for developing professional-level competency in complex analytical fields. The comprehensive educational system challenged conventional assumptions about knowledge acquisition, while providing practical approaches that enabled anyone to develop sophisticated investment expertise through systematic learning and disciplined application. Michael's educational success proved that motivation and systematic effort could overcome any educational limitations or professional circumstances. The systematic approach to knowledge development that Michael had mastered provided a complete framework for lifelong learning and continuous skill development that enabled sustained success in rapidly changing market environments. His educational methodology demonstrated that learning was not a discrete activity, but rather a continuous process that enhanced decision-making capabilities and strategic thinking skills throughout his investment career. The examination of Michael's investment portfolio revealed that his extraordinary financial success represented merely the foundation for a comprehensive community development strategy that demonstrated how individual wealth creation could become a catalyst for systematic social improvement. The documentation showed that Michael had viewed his business empire not as an end goal but as the infrastructure necessary for addressing fundamental challenges that limited opportunity and advancement within our local community. The community impact documentation occupied an entire filing cabinet, revealing systematic charitable programs and development initiatives that had operated anonymously for over 15 years, while generating measurable improvements in educational outcomes, economic development, and social stability throughout our metropolitan region. These programs demonstrated how strategic philanthropy could create sustainable positive change when guided by business principles and systematic performance measurement. The educational advancement programs represented Michael's most comprehensive community investment, reflecting his fundamental belief that knowledge and skill development provided the most effective pathway for individuals to overcome economic limitations and achieve sustainable prosperity. These educational initiatives encompassed scholarship programs, vocational training support, and adult education resources that addressed barriers preventing talented individuals from realizing their full potential. The scholarship program had provided comprehensive educational support to over 200 students from economically disadvantaged families during the past 12 years, offering not merely financial assistance, but complete educational ecosystems that addressed the complex challenges facing first-generation college students. The program operated through partnerships with local high schools, community colleges, and universities that identified academically capable students whose potential might otherwise remain unrealized due to financial constraints. The selection criteria emphasized academic achievement combined with demonstrated work ethic, community involvement, and clear career objectives that indicated strong likelihood of educational success and subsequent community contribution. Recipients were required to maintain specified grade point averages, participate in mentorship programs, and commit to community service activities that strengthened their connection to local development initiatives. The comprehensive support structure extended beyond tuition assistance to encompass textbook allowances, technology resources, transportation assistance, and emergency funding that addressed unexpected obstacles that could otherwise derail educational progress. The program also provided academic counseling, career guidance, and professional networking opportunities that helped students navigate complex educational and employment systems. The outcomes measurement documentation revealed remarkable success rates that challenged conventional assumptions about educational achievement among students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Program participants demonstrated graduation rates exceeding 85%, significantly higher than regional averages for similar demographic groups. The majority of graduates had remained in the local community after completing their education, contributing to regional economic development, while serving as mentors for subsequent program participants. The vocational training initiatives addressed the practical reality that not all individuals were suited for traditional college education, while ensuring that alternative pathways to economic advancement remained available for motivated workers seeking skill development and career progression. These programs partnered with local trade organizations, manufacturing companies, and technical institutions to provide specialized training that aligned with regional employment opportunities. The program structure emphasized practical skills that generated immediate employment opportunities, while providing foundation knowledge that enabled continued career advancement and entrepreneurial development. Training areas included advanced manufacturing techniques, construction specializations, healthcare support services, and technology applications that reflected growing employment sectors within the regional economy. The placement assistance component ensured that training program graduates secured appropriate employment that utilized their newly acquired skills while providing compensation levels that supported family stability and economic advancement. Michael had developed relationships with local employers who prioritized hiring program graduates, creating systematic pipelines between training completion and meaningful employment opportunity. The adult education resources addressed the needs of working adults who sought skill enhancement or career transition opportunities, but faced scheduling and financial constraints that prevented participation in traditional educational programs. These initiatives provided flexible learning options that accommodated work schedules while delivering practical knowledge that generated immediate professional benefit. The program delivery methods included evening classes, weekend workshops, online learning platforms, and workplace training partnerships that enabled working adults to develop new capabilities without sacrificing current income or family responsibility. The curriculum emphasized practical applications that participants could implement immediately, while building foundation knowledge for long-term career development. The business development initiatives demonstrated Michael's understanding that sustainable community improvement required not merely individual advancement, but systematic economic development that created employment opportunities and entrepreneurial ecosystems within the local region. These programs provided capital, mentorship, and business support services to local entrepreneurs who demonstrated potential for creating sustainable enterprise. The Small Business Loan Program had provided startup capital to over 100 local entrepreneurs during the past decade, focusing on businesses that served community needs, while demonstrating realistic potential for profitability and growth. The loan criteria emphasized management capability, market opportunity, and community benefit, rather than traditional collateral requirements that often prevented qualified entrepreneurs from accessing conventional finance. The lending structure featured below-market interest rates, flexible repayment terms, and comprehensive business support services that increased success rates while ensuring loan portfolio sustainability. Recipients received ongoing mentorship, business counseling, and networking opportunities that addressed common challenges facing new business owners, while connecting them with resources and expertise that enhanced their likelihood of long-term success. The portfolio performance data revealed default rates significantly lower than conventional small business lending, demonstrating that character-based underwriting, combined with comprehensive support services, generated superior outcomes compared to traditional collateral-focused lending approaches. The successful businesses had created over 800 jobs within the local community, while contributing to tax base expansion and economic diversification. The Business Incubator Program provided workspace, shared services, and mentorship resources for early-stage enterprises that required supportive environments during their initial development phases. The incubator facility, located in one of Michael's commercial properties, offered affordable office space combined with access to business services, professional networks, and educational resources that accelerated business development while reducing startup costs. The incubator participants received systematic mentorship from successful local business owners, access to professional services, including legal and accounting support, and marketing assistance that helped establish market presence and customer acquisition systems. The program also facilitated networking among entrepreneurs that created collaborative opportunities and mutual support relationships. The graduation rate from the incubator program exceeded 70%, with successful businesses relocating to independent facilities while maintaining connections to the program as mentors for subsequent participants. The graduated businesses had collectively generated over 300 permanent jobs, while contributing to commercial real estate demand and local service sector development. The workforce development programs addressed systematic skills gaps that limited both individual employment opportunities and business expansion possibilities within the regional economy. These initiatives coordinated between educational institutions, employers, and training organizations to ensure that workforce development activities aligned with actual employment needs, while providing clear career pathways for program participants. The program assessment process identified specific skill requirements through systematic employer surveys and economic development analysis that revealed gaps between available workforce capabilities and employer needs. This analysis guided curriculum development and resource allocation decisions that maximized program effectiveness while ensuring efficient utilization of educational resources. The training delivery partners coordinated among multiple organizations to provide comprehensive workforce development that addressed both technical skills and professional competencies required for career advancement. The collaborative approach eliminated duplication while ensuring that participants received complete preparation for sustainable employment in growing economic sectors. The housing stability initiatives recognized that secure and affordable housing represented a fundamental requirement for individual and family advancement that enabled participation in educational and economic development opportunities. These programs addressed both immediate housing needs and long-term homeownership development that built personal wealth while strengthening community stability. The Emergency Housing Assistance Fund had prevented over 300 families from experiencing homelessness during temporary financial crises, providing short-term support that enabled families to maintain housing stability while addressing underlying challenges. The fund operated through partnerships with local social service organizations that identified families in crisis and coordinated comprehensive support services. The assistance criteria emphasized temporary support for families experiencing unexpected financial challenges rather than long-term dependency, ensuring that fund resources created maximum positive impact while maintaining program sustainability. Recipients received financial counseling and employment assistance that addressed root causes of housing instability while building long-term financial capability. The Homeownership Development Program provided down payment assistance, financial education, and ongoing support services that enabled working families to transition from rental housing to homeownership. The program addressed both financial barriers and knowledge gaps that prevented qualified families from accessing homeownership opportunities despite stable employment and demonstrated financial responsibility. The comprehensive support structure included credit counseling, mortgage preparation education, and post-purchase counseling that ensured successful homeownership transitions while building long-term financial stability. The program also provided emergency assistance during unexpected financial challenges that might otherwise threaten homeownership sustainability. The homeownership success rate exceeded 90%, with participating families demonstrating remarkable stability and continued community investment following their transition to homeownership. The program had facilitated over 100 successful homeownership transitions while contributing to neighborhood stabilization and property value improvement throughout targeted communities. The health and wellness initiatives addressed healthcare access barriers that limited individual productivity and family stability while creating systematic community health improvement. These programs recognized that health challenges often created financial crises that undermined educational and economic advancement opportunities, making healthcare access a fundamental community development priority. The Community Health Center support provided funding and operational assistance for healthcare facilities that served uninsured and underinsured community members who lacked access to preventive care and routine medical services. The support enabled expanded hours, additional services, and improved facilities that increased healthcare accessibility while reducing emergency room utilization for routine care needs. The preventive care programs emphasized health education, screening services, and early intervention approaches that addressed health challenges before they became serious medical problems requiring expensive treatment. These initiatives provided systematic health education, nutrition counseling, and fitness programs that improved community health outcomes while reducing long-term healthcare costs. The wellness infrastructure development included funding for recreational facilities, walking trails, and community gardens that provided opportunities for physical activity and healthy lifestyle choices. These investments created lasting community assets that supported ongoing health improvement while providing gathering spaces that strengthened social connections and community cohesion. The comprehensive community development strategy that Michael had implemented demonstrated how individual financial success could become a platform for systematic social improvement when guided by clear values and strategic thinking. His approach proved that wealth creation and community development were complementary rather than competing priorities, with each reinforcing the other through sustainable positive feedback cycles. The systematic performance measurement protocols that governed all community programs ensured accountability and continuous improvement while maximizing positive impact through evidence-based decision-making. Michael had applied the same analytical rigor to charitable activities that characterized his investment decisions, ensuring that community programs generated measurable results rather than merely good intention. The long-term sustainability planning that characterized all community initiatives ensured that positive impact would continue regardless of Michael's ongoing involvement, creating lasting institutional capacity that could expand and evolve in response to changing community needs. His approach demonstrated how strategic philanthropy could create permanent positive change rather than temporary assistance that addressed symptoms while leaving underlying challenges unresolved. The investigation into Michael's community development programs revealed that his extraordinary impact had been achieved through a sophisticated network of strategic partnerships that demonstrated how collaborative approaches could amplify individual resources while creating sustainable institutional capacity for ongoing positive change. The partnership documentation showed that Michael had systematically developed relationships with key stakeholders across multiple sectors, enabling coordinated community development that exceeded what any single organization could accomplish independently. The partnership philosophy that guided Michael's collaborative strategy emphasized mutual benefit and shared accountability rather than traditional charitable relationships, where donors provided resources while recipients remained passive beneficiaries. His approach created partnerships where all participants contributed unique capabilities and resources while sharing responsibility for program outcomes and long-term sustainability. This collaborative framework generated greater impact while building institutional capacity that could continue operating effectively regardless of his ongoing involvement. The Educational Partnership Network encompassed relationships with public school districts, community colleges, universities, and private educational organizations that created comprehensive pathways for student advancement from elementary education through professional development. These partnerships addressed systemic barriers that prevented talented students from achieving their educational potential while creating institutional capacity for ongoing educational improvement. The public school partnerships focused on identifying and supporting academically gifted students from economically disadvantaged families who demonstrated potential for educational excellence but lacked resources necessary for advanced academic preparation. Michael had developed relationships with guidance counselors, teachers, and administrators who understood community demographics and could identify students whose circumstances might prevent them from accessing appropriate educational opportunities. The partnership structure provided supplemental educational resources, including advanced academic programs, tutoring services, and enrichment activities that enhanced student preparation for post-secondary education. These programs operated within existing school frameworks while adding capabilities that addressed specific needs of high-potential students from limited resource families. The community college partnerships created seamless transition pathways for students who required additional academic preparation before pursuing four-year university programs. These relationships provided scholarship support, academic counseling, and transfer assistance that ensured students received appropriate educational foundation while maintaining progress toward advanced degree completion. The university partnerships encompassed both public and private institutions that provided scholarship opportunities, mentorship programs, and career development resources for students from the community development program. These relationships included not only financial support, but also comprehensive student success services that addressed the complex challenges facing first-generation college students. The partnership agreements specified ongoing obligations for all participants, including academic performance standards, community service requirements, and post-graduation commitments that maintained connection between program graduates and ongoing community development initiatives. This approach created sustainable networks of educated professionals who contributed to regional economic development while serving as mentors for subsequent program participants. The Business Development Partnership Network included relationships with established companies, professional service firms, financial institutions, and industry organizations that provided mentorship, market access, and growth capital for emerging entrepreneurs within the community development program. These partnerships created systematic support ecosystems that increased business success rates while contributing to regional economic diversification. The established company partnerships provided mentorship opportunities where experienced business leaders shared practical knowledge and strategic guidance with emerging entrepreneurs. These relationships included regular consulting sessions, strategic planning assistance, and operational guidance that addressed common challenges facing new business owners while connecting them with industry expertise and professional networks. The professional service partnerships ensured that emerging businesses received high-quality legal, accounting, marketing, and consulting services at affordable rates that supported business development while maintaining professional standards. These relationships provided emerging entrepreneurs with access to expertise that would otherwise be financially prohibitive during early business development phases. The financial institution partnerships created alternative lending opportunities for entrepreneurs who demonstrated business potential but lacked collateral or credit history necessary for conventional business finance. These relationships included both traditional banks and alternative lenders who understood community development objectives and were willing to evaluate loan applications based on character and business potential rather than strictly conventional underwriting criteria. The industry organization partnerships provided emerging businesses with access to trade associations, professional networks, and industry resources that facilitated market entry and business development. These relationships included membership opportunities, networking events, and educational programs that accelerated business learning while building professional connections essential for long-term success. The Workforce Development Partnership Network coordinated among employers, educational institutions, and training organizations to ensure that workforce development programs aligned with actual employment needs while providing clear career advancement pathways for program participants. These partnerships addressed both immediate skill gaps and long-term workforce planning that supported regional economic development. The employer partnerships involved systematic assessment of current and projected workforce needs that guided curriculum development and training program design. These relationships included both large employers who could provide substantial employment opportunities and smaller companies that offered specialized training and career development possibilities. The training organization partnerships coordinated program delivery among multiple providers to ensure comprehensive workforce development that addressed both technical skills and professional competencies required for career advancement. These collaborative arrangements eliminated duplication while maximizing resource utilization and program effectiveness. The labor organization partnerships ensured that workforce development programs aligned with union training standards and apprenticeship requirements where applicable, creating pathways for program participants to access high-quality employment opportunities with established career advancement systems and comprehensive benefit packages. The Healthcare Partnership Network addressed community health needs through collaborative relationships with medical provider health insurance organizations and wellness program administrators who shared commitment to improving health outcomes while reducing healthcare costs through preventive care and early intervention strategies. Medical provider partnerships included relationships with hospitals, clinics, and private practice physicians who provided healthcare services at reduced rates for community program participants, while contributing professional expertise to community health improvement initiatives. These partnerships expanded healthcare access while ensuring quality care delivery. Health insurance partnerships facilitated access to affordable health coverage for individuals and families who were ineligible for employer-sponsored insurance but earned too much to qualify for government assistance programs. These relationships included group purchasing arrangements and premium subsidies that made health insurance accessible for working families. Wellness program partnerships coordinated among fitness facilities, nutrition education providers, and mental health organizations to provide comprehensive wellness services that addressed both physical and emotional health needs. These collaborative programs emphasized preventive care and lifestyle improvement that reduced long-term healthcare costs while improving quality of life. The housing partnership network included relationships with real estate professionals, construction companies, financial institutions, and government agencies that facilitated both emergency housing assistance and long-term homeownership development for families within the community development program. Real estate partnerships provided access to affordable housing options and homeownership opportunities that might not be readily available through conventional market channels. These relationships included both rental assistance and home purchase opportunities that addressed different family circumstances and financial capability. Construction partnerships facilitated home improvement and rehabilitation projects that enhanced housing quality while providing training opportunities for workforce development program participants. These relationships created employment opportunities while improving community housing stock through systematic renovation and maintenance programs. The financial institution partnerships provided access to affordable mortgage financing and down payment assistance programs that enabled working families to transition from rental housing to homeownership. These relationships included the specialized loan products and counseling services that addressed the specific needs of first-time homebuyers from moderate-income families. The government partnership network encompassed relationships with local, state, and federal agencies that provided additional resources and regulatory coordination for community development initiatives. These partnerships ensured compliance with applicable regulations while accessing government programs that complemented private community development efforts. The local government partnerships included relationships with city planning departments, economic development agencies, and social service organizations that coordinated community development activities with municipal planning initiatives and public service delivery systems. The state government partnerships provided access to workforce development funding, educational grant programs, and business development incentives that enhanced program resources while ensuring alignment with state, economic development priorities and regulatory requirements. The federal government partnerships included relationships with Small Business Administration programs, Department of Housing and Urban Development Initiative, and Department of Labor Workforce Development funding that provided additional resources for community development activities while ensuring compliance with federal program requirements. The partnership management systems that Michael had developed ensured effective coordination among multiple organizations while maintaining accountability for program outcomes and resource utilization. These management approaches demonstrated how complex collaborative networks could operate efficiently while maintaining focus on community development objectives. The communication protocols facilitated regular information sharing among partners while protecting confidential information and maintaining appropriate boundaries between organizations with different operational requirements and accountability structures. These systems enabled effective coordination while respecting organizational autonomy and professional standards. The performance measurement systems ensured that all partnerships contributed measurably to community development objectives while maintaining accountability for resource utilization and program effectiveness. These measurement approaches provided objective assessment of partnership value while identifying opportunities for improvement and expansion. The conflict resolution protocols addressed disagreements and operational challenges that inevitably arose within complex collaborative networks, ensuring that partnership difficulties were resolved constructively while maintaining focus on community development objectives rather than organizational interests. The partnership sustainability planning ensured that collaborative relationships could continue operating effectively, regardless of changes in organizational leadership or resource availability. These sustainability approaches created institutional capacity that transcended individual relationships while maintaining commitment to community development objectives. The expansion strategies that guided partnership development identified opportunities for adding new collaborative relationships that could enhance program effectiveness while maintaining manageable coordination requirements. These strategies balanced partnership growth with operational efficiency to ensure that collaborative networks remained effective as they expanded. The partnership documentation revealed that Michael had created a comprehensive collaborative ecosystem that transformed community development from individual charitable activity into systematic institutional capacity building. His approach demonstrated how strategic partnerships could amplify individual resources while creating sustainable positive change that continued operating independently of any single contributor or organization. The collaborative framework that Michael had developed proved that meaningful community development required coordination among multiple stakeholders who shared commitment to positive change while contributing different capabilities and resources. His partnership strategy demonstrated how individual success could become a catalyst for systematic community improvement when channeled through effective collaborative relationships that respected organizational autonomy while maintaining focus on shared objectives. The comprehensive community development programs that Michael had established required sophisticated financial architecture that generated sufficient resources to fund extensive charitable activities while maintaining personal financial security and continued business growth. The financial documentation revealed systematic wealth creation and distribution strategies that demonstrated how individual financial success could be structured to serve multiple objectives simultaneously without compromising any single priority. The financial framework that enabled Michael's extraordinary community impact was built around the principle of strategic resource allocation that maximized both wealth accumulation and charitable impact through systematic coordination of investment returns, tax optimization, and cash flow management. This approach proved that individual wealth building and community development could operate as mutually reinforcing activities rather than competing priorities, requiring difficult trade-offs between personal security and social responsibility. The investment portfolio structure provided the foundation for sustainable community funding through diversified asset allocation that generated predictable cash flow while maintaining growth potential necessary for expanding charitable activities over time. The portfolio design emphasized income-producing investments that provided steady funding for community programs while preserving principal value that could support increased charitable activity as community needs expand. The real estate portfolio generated substantial monthly cash flow through strategically acquired commercial properties that provided both investment returns and community development opportunities. These properties were selected based on dual criteria that emphasized both financial performance and potential for positive community impact through tenant selection, property improvement, and neighborhood development activity. The commercial office buildings provided stable rental income from established businesses while creating opportunities to support local entrepreneurs through favorable lease terms and business development assistance. These properties were located in areas experiencing economic transition, where strategic property improvement could catalyze broader neighborhood revitalization while generating attractive investment returns. The retail centers generated consistent cash flow while providing platforms for supporting local businesses through strategic tenant selection and business development support. These properties emphasized locally owned businesses that served community needs while creating employment opportunities for community program participants. The mixed-use developments combined residential and commercial components that addressed community housing needs while generating diversified income streams. These properties provided affordable housing options for working families while creating commercial space for emerging businesses supported by the Community Development Program. The business investment portfolio provided additional income streams through strategic equity positions in companies that aligned with community development objectives while generating superior financial return. These investments demonstrated how financial performance and social impact could be optimized simultaneously through careful selection of investment opportunities that served both objectives. The service businesses provided steady returns while creating employment opportunities for community program participants. These investments included companies that required reliable workers with strong work ethics rather than specialized technical skills, creating pathways for individuals seeking career advancement through the workforce development program. The manufacturing investments generated substantial returns while contributing to regional economic diversification and job creation. These companies provided employment opportunities across multiple skill levels while offering career advancement possibilities for workers who demonstrated capability and commitment. The technology investments offered growth potential while creating high-value employment opportunities for community program graduates who had developed relevant technical skills through educational advancement programs. These investments demonstrated how community development could create pathways to emerging economic sectors. The financial management systems that coordinated investment activities with charitable funding requirements ensured sustainable resource allocation that maintained both portfolio growth and community program expansion. These systems provided systematic approaches to cash flow planning, investment timing, and resource allocation that optimized both financial performance and charitable impact. The cash flow management protocols ensured that investment income was allocated systematically among reinvestment, charitable funding, and personal financial security requirements. These protocols provided predictable funding for community programs while maintaining investment growth necessary for expanding charitable capacity over time. The investment timing strategies coordinated asset purchases and sales to optimize both financial returns and charitable funding availability. These strategies included systematic rebalancing that harvested gains for charitable funding while maintaining portfolio diversification and growth potential. The tax optimization structures minimized tax obligations while maximizing after-tax resources available for both reinvestment and charitable activity. These structures utilized legitimate business entities and charitable vehicles that enhanced financial efficiency while ensuring compliance with applicable tax regulation. The charitable funding mechanisms provided systematic approaches to resource allocation that ensured sustainable program funding while maintaining transparency and accountability for charitable expenditure. These mechanisms included both direct funding and endowment strategies that provided long-term program sustainability regardless of short-term investment performance fluctuation. The direct funding protocols allocated specified percentages of investment income to different charitable programs while maintaining reserves for unexpected opportunities and program expansion requirements. These protocols ensured predictable program funding while providing flexibility for strategic initiatives that addressed emerging community needs. The endowment strategies created permanent funding sources for critical community programs through systematic allocation of investment principal to charitable trusts and foundation structures that generated independent income streams. These endowments provided long-term program sustainability while protecting charitable activities from investment market volatility. The program evaluation systems ensured that charitable funding generated measurable community impact while maintaining accountability for resource utilization and program effectiveness. These systems provided objective assessment of charitable return on investment that guided funding allocation decisions and program development priorities. The personal financial security framework ensured that charitable activities did not compromise family financial stability or retirement planning requirements. This framework demonstrated how systematic wealth building could accommodate both generous charitable giving and responsible personal financial management without requiring difficult choices between competing priorities. The emergency reserve management maintained substantial liquid assets that provided financial security for unexpected challenges while ensuring that temporary market downturns could not force reduction in charitable activities or personal lifestyle requirements. These reserves provided peace of mind that enabled continued generous giving, regardless of short-term economic conditions. The retirement planning strategies ensured that long-term personal financial security remained protected while maximizing current charitable capacity. These strategies included systematic wealth accumulation that would provide comfortable retirement income while maintaining substantial charitable giving capability throughout retirement years. The insurance strategies protected both investment assets and family financial security against unexpected risks that could compromise either wealth accumulation or charitable giving capacity. These strategies included comprehensive life insurance, disability coverage, and liability protection that preserved both personal and charitable financial capacity, regardless of unforeseen circumstances. The succession planning framework ensured that both wealth accumulation and charitable activities could continue effectively regardless of Michael's ongoing involvement. This framework included comprehensive estate planning and institutional development that would maintain community programs while preserving family financial security for future generations. The estate planning strategies optimized wealth transfer to family members while maximizing charitable bequests that would expand community program capacity. These strategies utilized sophisticated estate planning techniques that minimized tax obligations while achieving both family and charitable objectives. The institutional development activities created independent organizational capacity that could manage and expand community programs without requiring ongoing personal involvement. These activities included board development, professional management recruitment, and operational system creation that transformed personal charitable activities into sustainable institutional capacity. The professional management systems ensured that complex financial operations could function effectively without requiring Michael's constant personal attention. These systems included relationships with investment advisors, tax professionals, and legal specialists who provided expertise while maintaining accountability for performance and compliance requirements. The investment advisory relationships provided professional portfolio management that enhanced investment performance while reducing time requirements for investment oversight and decision-making. These relationships included both traditional asset management and specialized investment opportunities that required professional expertise for effective evaluation and management. The tax planning relationships ensured that complex financial structures remained compliant with applicable regulations while optimizing tax efficiency. These relationships included specialized accountants and tax attorneys who understood high net worth planning strategies and charitable giving optimization techniques. The legal advisory relationships provided expertise for business structure optimization, contract negotiation, and risk management that protected both personal and charitable assets while ensuring compliance with applicable regulations. These relationships included specialized attorneys who understood both investment activities and charitable organization requirements. The performance measurement systems provided systematic evaluation of both investment performance and charitable impact that ensured accountability while identifying opportunities for improvement and expansion. These systems demonstrated how sophisticated measurement approaches could optimize both financial and social returns on invested resources. The investment performance tracking provided detailed analysis of portfolio returns compared to relevant benchmarks and strategic objectives. This tracking included both absolute returns and risk-adjusted performance measures that ensured investment strategies remained aligned with both financial and charitable objectives. The charitable impact measurement provided systematic evaluation of community program effectiveness through outcome tracking and cost-benefit analysis. This measurement demonstrated how charitable activities generated measurable community improvements while ensuring efficient resource utilization and program accountability. The integrated reporting systems provided comprehensive assessment of how financial and charitable activities reinforced each other while achieving strategic objectives. These systems demonstrated how wealth building and community development could operate as coordinated strategies that enhanced both individual and community prosperity. The financial architecture that Michael had developed proved that individual wealth accumulation and community development could be structured as mutually reinforcing activities that enhanced both personal financial security and community advancement. His approach demonstrated how systematic financial planning could accommodate generous charitable giving while maintaining aggressive wealth building and family financial protection. The comprehensive financial framework provided a practical model for how successful individuals could structure their resources to serve multiple objectives simultaneously while optimizing both financial performance and community impact through systematic planning and disciplined execution. The documentation of Michael's extraordinary achievement raised fundamental questions about how anyone could successfully manage the complex demands of building a sophisticated business empire while maintaining excellence in primary employment and family responsibility. The answer emerged through examination of comprehensive time management systems that demonstrated how strategic scheduling and productivity optimization could create extraordinary capacity for achievement within the constraints of ordinary 24-hour days. The time management philosophy that governed Michael's approach emphasized maximum utilization of available hours through systematic elimination of inefficiency and strategic allocation of energy toward high-impact activity. His methodology proved that time scarcity represented a planning challenge rather than an insurmountable resource limitation, demonstrating how anyone could dramatically expand their productive capacity through disciplined application of optimization principles. The systematic approach to schedule design reflected comprehensive understanding of energy management, priority optimization, and workflow coordination that enabled simultaneous excellence across multiple demanding responsibilities. Michael had developed scheduling frameworks that maximized productivity while maintaining work quality and personal well-being through strategic coordination of different activity types and energy requirements. The daily schedule architecture divided each 24-hour period into specific time blocks allocated to different categories of activity based on energy requirements, concentration demands, and strategic importance. This structure ensured that high-priority activities received optimal attention, while routine responsibilities were handled efficiently without compromising quality or creating unnecessary stress. The early morning intensive sessions occupied the period from 4:30 to 7 o'clock each day, providing 2.5 hours of uninterrupted time for complex analytical work that required sustained concentration and creative thinking. These sessions were dedicated to investment, research, financial analysis, and strategic planning activities that formed the foundation of business decision-making and wealth accumulation strategy. The morning preparation enabled these intensive sessions through systematic optimization of sleep schedules, nutrition planning, and environmental design that maximized mental clarity and focus during peak productivity hours. Michael had developed comprehensive protocols for sleep optimization, morning routines, and workspace preparation that ensured maximum effectiveness during these critical time periods. The grocery store employment occupied standard business hours from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, providing full-time income while serving as professional development opportunities for leadership skills, customer service excellence, and operational management capabilities that enhanced business expertise across multiple disciplines. The transition protocols between different activity categories minimize time loss while maintaining mental clarity and emotional balance throughout demanding daily schedules. These protocols included systematic approaches to activity completion, priority reassessment, and energy management that enabled smooth transitions without productivity loss or stress accumulation. The evening business sessions extended from 6:30 until 10 o'clock each evening, providing 3.5 hours for property management, business communications, and investment portfolio monitoring activities that required systematic attention but could accommodate interruptions without compromising quality or effectiveness. The family time allocation ensured that marriage and personal relationships received appropriate attention despite demanding business and employment schedules. Michael had developed systematic approaches to relationship maintenance that provided quality time with family while respecting their schedules and interests rather than viewing personal time as competing with business objectives. The weekend intensive periods provided extended time blocks for complex projects that required sustained effort and systematic completion. These sessions included property inspections, business meetings, strategic planning activities, and educational programs that advanced long-term objectives while maintaining progress momentum across all business development priorities. The productivity optimization systems maximized output efficiency through systematic elimination of time-wasting activities and strategic utilization of technology tools that automated routine tasks while enhancing decision-making capability. These systems demonstrated how anyone could dramatically increase their productive capacity through disciplined application of efficiency principles and systematic workflow optimization. The task prioritization methodology ensured that available time was allocated to activities that generated maximum progress toward strategic objectives while maintaining standards for routine responsibilities that required consistent attention. This methodology provided objective criteria for decision-making about time allocation that prevented emotional decision-making or reactive scheduling that could undermine long-term progress. The impact assessment framework evaluated potential activities based on their contribution to long-term objectives relative to time investment requirements. This framework enabled systematic comparison of competing priorities while ensuring that time allocation decisions supported strategic goals rather than immediate convenience or external pressure. The elimination strategies identified activities that consumed time without generating proportional value toward important objectives. These strategies included systematic evaluation of commitments, optimization of routine activities, and delegation of tasks that could be handled effectively by others while freeing personal time for higher value activity. The automation systems utilize technology solutions and systematic processes that reduce time requirements for routine activities while maintaining quality standards and accountability measures. These systems included financial management software, communication tools, and information management platforms that enhanced efficiency while providing superior results compared to manual approaches. The communication optimization protocols minimized time requirements for business and personal communications while maintaining relationship quality and ensuring that important information was shared effectively among relevant parties. These protocols included systematic approaches to email management, meeting efficiency, and information sharing that eliminated communication-related time waste. The email management systems provided structured approaches to message processing that ensured important communications received appropriate attention, while preventing email from consuming excessive time or creating unnecessary interruptions. These systems included batch processing techniques, priority filtering, and response automation that maintained communication effectiveness while protecting productive time blocks. The meeting effectiveness protocols ensured that business meetings accomplished specific objectives efficiently while respecting participants' time constraints and maintaining focus on actionable outcomes. These protocols included agenda preparation, time management, and follow-up systems that maximized meeting value while minimizing time investment requirements. The information sharing systems provided systematic approaches to documentation and knowledge transfer that ensured important information was accessible to relevant parties without requiring extensive personal communication time. These systems included standardized reporting, documentation protocols, and information management platforms that enhanced coordination while reducing communication overhead. The energy management strategies optimized physical and mental capacity throughout demanding daily schedules while maintaining health and well-being, necessary for sustained high performance across multiple responsibilities. These strategies demonstrated how systematic attention to energy optimization could dramatically enhance productivity while preventing burnout or performance degradation. The nutrition optimization provided sustained energy throughout long working days while supporting cognitive function and physical stamina necessary for maintaining excellence across multiple demanding activities. Michael had developed systematic approaches to meal planning, timing, and nutritional content that enhanced performance while accommodating busy schedules and varying energy requirements. The exercise integration maintained physical fitness and stress management despite time constraints and demanding schedules. These integration strategies included efficient workout protocols, activity-based exercise opportunities, and systematic movement throughout daily routines that maintained health while contributing to overall productivity and well-being. These stress management techniques prevented accumulated pressure from undermining performance or decision-making quality, despite the inherent challenges of managing multiple complex responsibilities
simultaneously. These techniques included systematic relaxation practices, perspective maintenance strategies, and emotional regulation approaches that maintained mental clarity and balanced judgment throughout demanding periods. Sleep optimization protocols ensured adequate rest and recovery despite early wake times and late work sessions. These protocols included systematic approaches to sleep environment design, bedtime routines, and sleep quality enhancement that maximized rest effectiveness while accommodating demanding schedules and varying time requirements. Technology utilization strategies leveraged advanced tools and systems that enhanced productivity while reducing time requirements for routine tasks and information management activities. These strategies demonstrated how systematic technology adoption could create substantial time savings while improving quality and accuracy of business operations. The information management systems organized vast amounts of data and documentation in formats that facilitated rapid retrieval and systematic analysis during decision-making processes. These systems included database management, file organization, and search optimization techniques that eliminated time waste while ensuring access to relevant information when needed. The financial management software automated routine accounting, portfolio tracking, and performance measurement activities, while providing sophisticated analytical capabilities that enhanced decision-making without requiring extensive manual data processing. These systems provided professional-level financial management while reducing administrative overhead. Communication technology utilized advanced platforms and tools that enhanced coordination and information sharing while reducing time requirements for routine business communication. These technologies included specialized software applications, mobile communications tools, and collaborative platforms that enhanced effectiveness while protecting productive time. The analytical tools provided sophisticated capabilities for market research, investment analysis, and performance measurement that would have required extensive manual calculation and research time using traditional approaches. These tools enabled professional-level analysis while dramatically reducing time investment requirements for complex evaluation. Workflow optimization systems coordinated multiple business activities and responsibilities through systematic scheduling and task management that prevented conflicts while ensuring consistent progress across all priorities. These systems demonstrated how complex schedules could be managed effectively through systematic planning and disciplined execution. The project management methodologies ensured that complex business initiatives progressed systematically while maintaining coordination with routine responsibilities and time constraints. These methodologies included systematic planning, milestone tracking, and resource allocation techniques that ensured project completion while maintaining overall schedule effectiveness. Seasonal planning approaches coordinated business activities with natural cycles and external constraints that affected time availability and resource requirements. These approaches included systematic adjustment of priorities and scheduling based on seasonal business patterns, family obligations, and market conditions that influenced optimal timing for different activities. Contingency planning protocols provided systematic approaches for managing unexpected demands and opportunities without compromising established priorities or creating schedule disruptions that could undermine long-term progress. These protocols included reserve time allocation, priority, reassessment procedures, and emergency response systems that maintained schedule effectiveness despite unpredictable external factors.
The performance measurement systems tracked time utilization effectiveness and productivity outcomes that enabled continuous improvement of scheduling and workflow optimization strategies. These systems provided objective feedback about time management effectiveness while identifying opportunities for further optimization and efficiency enhancement. The time tracking methodologies provided detailed data about actual time allocation compared to planned schedules, while identifying patterns and trends that informed optimization decisions. These methodologies included systematic recording, analysis, and evaluation techniques that enhanced understanding of productivity patterns while supporting continuous improvement efforts. The effectiveness assessment frameworks evaluated whether time management strategies generated desired outcomes while maintaining quality standards and personal well-being requirements. These frameworks provided systematic approaches to optimization that balanced productivity maximization with sustainability and life satisfaction considerations. The continuous improvement protocols ensured that time management systems evolved and adapted based on changing circumstances, new opportunities, and lessons learned through practical experience. These protocols included systematic evaluation, experimentation, and refinement processes that enhanced effectiveness while maintaining flexibility for adaptation to new challenges and opportunities. The time management revolution that Michael had implemented demonstrated how anyone could dramatically expand their productive capacity through systematic application of optimization principles and disciplined execution of efficiency strategies. His approach proved that extraordinary achievement was possible within ordinary time constraints when guided by strategic planning and systematic commitment to productivity maximization through intelligent scheduling and workflow optimization. The psychological documentation within Michael's comprehensive business files revealed that his extraordinary achievement required fundamental transformation of mental frameworks and belief systems that enabled sustained effort and strategic thinking throughout 20 years of building his secret empire. The mindset development material demonstrated how systematic psychological conditioning and mental resilience training had created the internal foundation necessary for maintaining motivation and clear judgment, despite the inherent stress of managing complex responsibilities, while preserving his carefully constructed public facade. The psychological framework that supported Michael's achievement was built around the principle that mental conditioning determined the boundaries of what individuals could accomplish over extended periods. His approach emphasized systematic development of mental resilience, emotional regulation, and cognitive optimization that enabled sustained high performance despite the psychological challenges inherent in maintaining dual professional identities and managing complex strategic objectives simultaneously. The belief system transformation documentation revealed how Michael had systematically replaced limiting assumptions about what was possible for someone in his circumstances with empowering perspectives that supported ambitious goal setting and sustained effort toward extraordinary objectives. This transformation required deliberate examination of inherited beliefs about success, wealth, and social position that had been internalized through family background and cultural conditioning. The limiting belief identification process involved systematic analysis of assumptions about financial limitation, career potential, and social mobility that had been absorbed through environmental influences and educational experience. Michael had recognized that these inherited beliefs created psychological barriers that prevented consideration of possibilities that extended beyond conventional expectations for someone in his demographic and professional circumstance. The belief system reconstruction emphasized evidence-based thinking that evaluated possibilities based on documented examples of achievement rather than assumptions about limitations imposed by circumstances or background. This reconstruction involved comprehensive study of individuals who had achieved extraordinary results despite modest starting positions, demonstrating that circumstances did not determine potential when combined with appropriate strategies and sustained effort. The mental model development created systematic frameworks for understanding success principles and wealth creation strategies that replaced emotional reactions and conventional wisdom with analytical approaches based on proven methodologies and strategic thinking. These mental models provided cognitive structure that supported consistent decision-making and strategic planning, despite psychological pressures and external skepticism. The goal-setting methodology reflected sophisticated understanding of psychological motivation and achievement dynamics that enabled maintenance of long-term commitment despite delayed gratification and uncertain outcome. Michael had developed systematic approaches to objective definition and progress measurement that sustained motivation while maintaining realistic expectations about timeframes and implementation challenges. The vision development process created compelling future scenarios that provided emotional motivation for sustained effort while maintaining connection to core values and fundamental life priorities. These visions encompassed not only financial objectives, but also family security, community contribution, and personal fulfillment goals that created comprehensive motivation for continued effort despite temporary setbacks and implementation difficulties. The milestone planning approach divided long-term objectives into intermediate goals that provided regular achievement experiences while maintaining progress toward ultimate objective. This planning methodology created systematic feedback loops that reinforced commitment while enabling course corrections based on market conditions and changing circumstances without abandoning fundamental strategic direction. The progress measurement systems provided objective tracking of advancement toward strategic objectives while maintaining psychological resilience during periods of slow progress or temporary setback. These systems emphasized trend analysis and cumulative achievement rather than short-term fluctuations that could undermine confidence or create emotional decision-making that conflicted with strategic planning. The stress management framework addressed the psychological challenges inherent in maintaining complex responsibilities and managing significant financial resources while preserving relationships and personal well-being. Michael had developed comprehensive approaches to stress recognition, emotional regulation, and psychological recovery that enabled sustained high performance without compromising mental health or family relationships. The compartmentalization strategies enabled effective management of different responsibilities and psychological demands without allowing stress or concerns from one area to undermine performance in other critical activities. These strategies included systematic mental separation techniques, priority management protocols, and emotional regulation practices that maintained clarity and effectiveness across multiple demanding roles. The perspective maintenance techniques preserved balanced judgment and strategic thinking, despite the psychological pressures created by financial success, time constraints, and the inherent stress of maintaining secrecy about his business activity. These techniques included systematic reflection practices, value assessment protocols, and decision-making frameworks that prevented success from creating arrogance or compromising fundamental judgment. The emotional regulation systems managed the psychological impact of significant financial decisions, market volatility, and business challenges, while maintaining personal relationships and family stability. These systems included stress response management, anxiety control techniques, and emotional processing approaches that enabled clear thinking during challenging periods, while preserving psychological well-being. The confidence development methodology created psychological resilience and decision-making certainty that enabled aggressive pursuit of ambitious objectives despite inherent uncertainty and risk exposure. Michael had systematically developed confidence through competency building, achievement documentation, and systematic proof of capability that reinforced belief in his ability to achieve extraordinary results through sustained effort and strategic thinking. The competency-building approach emphasized systematic skill development and knowledge acquisition that created genuine expertise, rather than superficial familiarity with investment concepts and business strategy. This approach provided psychological foundation for confident decision-making based on demonstrated capability, rather than hopeful speculation or emotional optimism about uncertain outcomes. The achievement documentation preserved detailed records of successful investment, strategic decisions, and positive outcomes that provided concrete evidence of capability during periods of doubt or external skepticism. This documentation created psychological anchoring that reinforced confidence during challenging periods, while providing objective assessment of decision-making effectiveness and strategic planning capability. The capability validation sought external confirmation of expertise and decision-making quality through relationships with professional advisors and successful investors who could provide objective assessment of strategies and analytical approaches. This validation provided psychological reinforcement while ensuring that confidence remained grounded in genuine competency rather than unfounded optimism or unrealistic self-assessment. The resilience training developed psychological endurance and recovery capabilities that enabled sustained effort despite setbacks, disappointments, and temporary failures that inevitably occurred during complex business development activity. Michael had systematically conditioned mental toughness and emotional stability that prevented temporary problems from undermining long-term commitment or strategic focus. The setback recovery protocols provided systematic approaches to learning from failures and disappointments while maintaining motivation and strategic direction despite temporary reversals or unexpected challenges. These protocols emphasized analytical assessment of problems, strategic adjustment, based on lessons learned, and renewed commitment to fundamental objectives, rather than emotional reactions that could undermine continued progress. The persistence conditioning developed psychological stamina that enabled sustained effort over extended periods despite delayed gratification and uncertain outcomes. This conditioning involved systematic practice of delayed gratification, commitment maintenance, and effort sustainability that built psychological endurance necessary for long-term achievement goals that required years of consistent work before generating significant results. The motivation maintenance systems preserved enthusiasm and commitment despite the routine nature of many business activities and the psychological challenge of maintaining effort when results remained invisible to others. These systems included systematic reinforcement of purpose, regular assessment of progress, and celebration of intermediate achievements that sustained emotional engagement with long-term objectives. The cognitive optimization strategies enhanced mental clarity, analytical capability, and decision-making quality through systematic brain training and intellectual development activity. Michael had developed comprehensive approaches to cognitive enhancement that improved analytical thinking, strategic planning, and creative problem-solving capabilities necessary for identifying opportunities and developing innovative solutions to complex challenges. The analytical thinking development strengthened logical reasoning, systematic evaluation, and objective assessment capabilities that enabled superior decision-making despite emotional pressures and external influence. This development included systematic practice of analytical frameworks, logical assessment techniques, and objective evaluation methodologies that enhanced decision-making quality while reducing emotional bias and external pressure influence. The strategic thinking enhancement developed systematic approaches to long-term planning, scenario analysis, and strategic positioning that enabled identification of opportunities and development of comprehensive strategies for achieving complex objectives. This enhancement involved practice of strategic planning frameworks, competitive analysis techniques, and systematic evaluation of alternative approaches that improved strategic decision-making capability. The creative problem-solving training developed innovative thinking capabilities that enabled identification of unconventional solutions and strategic opportunities that others overlook. This training involved systematic practice of creative thinking techniques, alternative perspective development, and innovative solution generation that enhanced ability to identify unique opportunities and develop creative approaches to complex challenges. The focus maintenance systems preserved concentration and attention quality despite distractions and competing demands that could undermine productivity and decision-making effectiveness. Michael had developed systematic approaches to attention management, distraction elimination, and concentration enhancement that enabled sustained high-quality work despite complex schedules and multiple responsibilities. The attention management protocols provided systematic techniques for maintaining focus during complex analytical work, while managing interruptions and external demands that could fragment concentration and reduce work quality. These protocols included environmental design, schedule optimization, and attention training practices that enhanced concentration quality while maintaining responsiveness to important external demand. The distraction elimination strategies identified and systematically reduced environmental factors and psychological patterns that interfered with sustained concentration and high-quality work. These strategies included systematic evaluation of work environment, identification of distraction sources, and implementation of control measures that enhanced focus quality while maintaining necessary communications and coordination activity. The concentration enhancement practices developed sustained attention capabilities through systematic mental training and attention conditioning that enabled extended periods of high-quality analytical work. These practices included meditation techniques, attention training exercises, and concentrating conditioning activities that enhanced mental endurance while improving work quality and analytical effectiveness. The psychological sustainability framework ensured that mental conditioning and cognitive optimization remained effective over extended periods without creating burnout or psychological exhaustion that could undermine long-term achievement capability. This framework emphasized balanced psychological development that enhanced performance while preserving mental health and personal relationships. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.